I first met my co-host when she had a syndicated talk show all about sex. Sex with Sue McGarvie. And I am the Milkman, John Mielke, host of The Milkman Show, heard on radio stations across North America. And my home base, blasttheradio.com. We're glad you're here. Let's get turned on.
Hi, Sue. Welcome back to the RV of Love, as you call it.
Love. Chicka boom, boom, boom.
All right, we begin the conversation today. I've already screwed up the pronunciation of this, I think, 3 times. Knismophiliac?
Knismophiliac.
Knismophiliac.
And the K is silent, so it's Knismophiliac, okay?
Okay.
And it is why tickling turns some people on, or tickle fetishes. So,
Are you ticklish?
a little bit. Depends on where it is. Not overly. You know, I love my feet being rubbed.
Her feet,
yeah.
By the way, we work together. Is it okay if I put my hands on you and try and tickle you?
Yes. We're good friends. Not that kind of friends, but good friends. Yeah.
But like as I'm doing it, it's like, oh, John, it's 2023.
No, you're not going to offend me. I know you. It's fine.
Good.
Orgasms. There are some people that get orgasms from tickling people, right? So sexually arousing for some people to be tickled. So pleasure is a byproduct of the interplay of the physical and psychological factors, and tickling really is a good example of how that interplays, which so is power dynamic, right? The physical versus the psychological, or the fantasy and all how that works, right? So tickling can trigger fear. It's a complex sensation, and it can also be that feeling like something's crawling on your skin. I know. So yeah.
By the way, for the record, Sue is she can't keep her hands off me now.
Yes, all right, I'll do that. I know he's just had a shower, so I can run my hands through his hair. Okay, and it is laughter is part of your defense system. Fear can be arousing. That's the whole feathers thing, and the nervous system doesn't know the difference between real and perceived threats. So if it's tickling, and you're thinking, oh my God, is there a spider? Is there a tick? And I remember being in the woods, and I pulled 2 ticks off the dog, and I saw one, and then at night I have this like sensation that something's crawling on you, and it's not until it does. But that it's
Well, I hope it's not a tick. Those are awful.
They really are.
Yeah.
So anticipatory nature, some parts of our brain light up. There's also the whole dom sub thing, which I'm tying into you because I know you immediately.
You're tying the dom sub thing into me.
I am. Yep. And
With rope, I hope.
it's safe in a consensual way. There's tickle torture. It can be embarrassing.
Yep.
It can be consensual punishment. It can be childlike playfulness if you're in the, daddy dom little girl thing. So it is a whole thing. So if you have not explored that, let's tickle. It may be something. I know. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel sexual to me either.
It's a big thing for a lot of folks, though. It's not for me. In fact, I really, if you touch my back, you just talked about this, how the brain perceives fear.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but if you touch my back, I jump out of my skin. I can't handle it.
Huh.
Now, if you start whispering or licking around my ear,
yeah. See, I don't like that. The wet willy thing, I don't like that. See, I'm fine with my back. And I love the back of my head done, and my feet and my hands, but no, I don't want you to lick my ear. No, that doesn't.
But I've been in scenes with people where the tickling thing is a big thing for them, and it's quite.
Yeah, as I said,
the thing, yeah.
There was okay. So I'm watching porn, right? So there's this, and I know, and there's this whole thing about I have the article about porn. The porn watches like way bigger numbers than Netflix. Let's just leave it at that. Shocking. But I was, and it was this whole thing that came up about, and then watching the woman have an orgasm from tickling, and it looked as authentic as it can be. You can't verify on TV, but man, it really looked like she was climaxing. I know. She's either the most brilliant actress or this really worked for her. So.
Or there's some very good editing going on there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So if you're feeling the need or you have, you want to share with us, I've been getting some comments. Thank you very much. Sue@sexwithsue.com. And I would be delighted if you want to tell me about your tickle fetish because, inquiring minds want to know.
And you can find us online, of course, turnedonpodcast.com. We have breaking news on Turned On the Podcast. Orgasms are better than sleeping pills. With the latest, here's Sue McGarvie.
at the Sleep 2023 conference last week. It was in New Jersey, right? Sleep, orgasms, and sex came up as qualities when they surveyed patients 25 to 49, which is a good audience. It's kind of, not quite our audience, but pretty damn close, versus those who's used sleep medication in the last 6 months. 75% of them had better sleep after the big O, whether you rub one out or you roll over and harass your partner.
Yep.
Than taking sleeping pills. Sleeping pills have side effects, leave you groggy in the morning, and it has been being an issue. So we need to come up with orgasm. So what I was saying is I found some stuff on Pink Cherry, inexpensive little vibrators, which I bought a bunch of, along with my mint flavored pasties, which are epic.
Mint flavored pasties?
They had some of them were left over from Christmas, but they were like $1.49.
Okay,
So you're looking for cheap, fun things to do? Mint flavored pasties, pinkcherry.com.
I'm dying to know. Is that where the song Peppermint Twist came from?
I think we should play that. I don't know. Ba-dum-bum. Anyway, it's great. So the cinnamon one's not so much, but I love the peppermint. And
I'd be willing to try the cinnamon one, Sue.
So I'm going back to the orgasm. So at the event, I gave women these little vibrators you put in their panties. Again, inexpensive. I used my loyalty points at Pink Cherry because I'm cheap, and was able to get a bunch of stuff and be able to do that. So
wait,
vibrated,
you've
and I don't know if they had better sleep that night. I didn't ask them, but they got little orgasms in their
So you've
panties.
actually got members of your Over 40 Connect and Ducklings group
Yes,
wandering
we are the
around out
ducklings.com.
there with little tickle things in their panties, exciting them. Who's controlling it?
No, it turns it on and they turn it off. So it's not the
it's not the remote app.
It's not there. There are, but this was the cheap version. But no, for a lot of women over 40, you need a lot longer than you used to in order to get there. So putting it on. So if I give it to them before they leave a party, and they vibrate all the way home, by the time they get home, they're like, okay, we're juicy. We are our squish factor is high. We're ready to do that. Yes?
Our squish factor is high.
We talked about that on the Pervy Book Club on Sunday.
That needs to be the name of this podcast.
Yeah, the squish factor.
Hey, by the way, I absolutely believe that to be true. Not that I've been big into sleep aids, etc. I've certainly tried that, anti-anxiety medications, etc., to calm my brain. Nothing makes me sleep better than an orgasm. It's nature. It's just that simple. And can I just mention this?
Sure.
I had an idea that we need to get people a little bit more involved in our podcast, because we know you're out there. Where are my kinky friends? Where are the people who would love to do a boudoir shoot with me? Because I am a photographer.
He is an exceptional photographer. So
where are the people who would like to do some more risque
pictures.
kink bondage type stuff? We'd love to use that as the cover art for our podcast. We don't have to show your face. Mm-hmm. We'd love to use that as we make them,
more Lemon Social,
on Lemon Social, etc.
Which is membership only.
More titillating content. Maybe I'll get naked and turn you on Lemons. No, we'll find other people who can do that for you. But if you'd be interested in that kind of thing, if that would excite you, we'd love to involve you in the podcast that way.
Quick story. So when I had a television series. Right, Unzipped. What I did on Global, I had a television series out of Toronto.
How did I not know that?
I should bring you an episode.
Yes, you should.
So Unzipped and I used it was a great show. I had Koji, who was a guy from Las Vegas, as my co-host, and I had Teddy Wilson, who was on the Space Channel. He was doing a bunch of stuff. It was a really fun show. And I needed to do the cover, and I asked people. We were doing, dick shows and the cover of people's bodies. And I asked people in 35-degree weather if they would show up and let a stranger take pictures of their genitals. They were lined up down the block. I was afraid people were going to pass out. It was so hot. I ran to the store and got water and pop and pizza.
Right.
And it was and the citizen came and did a story saying, would you line up in incredibly hot weather for hours to have a stranger take pictures of your genitals? Turns out they will.
All right. Well, I thought I'd put it out here because I've tried reaching out to my Fetlife community. I find Fetlife has just gone, well, maybe that's the thing. Fetlife is giving people so many great orgasms, they're falling asleep, and that's why it's suddenly so quiet on Fetlife. Anyway, just an idea that I'm putting out there. If that would excite you, get in touch. turnedonpodcast.com. All right, your questions are always appreciated. Easiest is just to email Sue. Sue@sexwithsue.com. You can text the show if you'd like, 613-604-6464 in Canada, and in the States, 941-725-6455. Happens to spell milk. I'm told it's okay to have a vanity phone number if you are, and I am, a very vain person. So there's that. All right, we do have a listener question is what I'm getting to.
Was how much porn?
How much porn is too much?
How much porn is too much?
Yeah.
it's in the eye of the beholder. I'm thinking if you're not working or you're not going out with your
Porn
friends.
is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, ba-dum-ba.
Sue McGarvie. Right.
But if you're not going out because you're busy jerking off and watching porn, it could be a problem. If it's interfering with real life,
that might be a problem.
Is kind of my thing. Well,
Agreed.
It happens to tie in to, of course, a new study. Dr. Alan McKee says, can porn be healthy? Super controversial study. Oh, they had a panel. It was written up in The Guardian. It was, oh my God, it was so,
dun, dun, dun.
I know, it was super controversial. And they're saying basically that porn can be healthy if it shows diverse bodies doing diverse ways of doing things, and that porn is not homogenous, right? So that the biggest problem with this study was that the panel couldn't agree with what is healthy. Some people didn't believe porn is benign, let alone benevolent. And, they have this belief that it should be, that sex is, between white married people under the covers, when you're making babies or only to show love. And that is not, the sex that a lot of people have. And it's not the sex that and hot sex is not necessarily that. Sometimes that's great. Other times it's not. And then there's queer sex. And then there's, BDSM sex. And then there's a whole pile of octopus porn, which I'm not getting, but I'm all
and isn't
for
the
everybody
world
having...
all uptight and fighting about, these different, I don't want to say different kinds of sex, but unconventional things we haven't, non-traditional, not church sex. It's so ridiculous, these fights that are going on and how caught up we are in, in how gay people love and how pan people love and poly people love and on and
We're
on.
We're not going to get into, I know,
but
it's the same thing.
So how do those people end up on a panel like this? I don't know. To determine.
We're going to work. I think he was really balanced, but they say, drugs, abstinence, education is not helpful to young people to say all porn is bad. Prohibition style fails. It's been proven to fail. There's this great book that says, what do we know about the effects of pornography from academics after 50 years of academic research? The short answer is not much.
Awesome.
They lump it all together in one category. I'm reading it so that you don't have to. Healthy porn can actually contribute to disease-free, safe sex that helps make, healthy sexual development, as long as you understand power, gender assumptions, violence, and that it's not an ideal heterosexist, express love kind of thing. That making love, sex, intimacy, kink, getting it on can be all of that range, provided it's safe and consensual.
Always.
And in terms of looking at that, so if you have a critical eye about what the porn you're watching, I absolutely think it's a tool, as long as it doesn't take over your life. There's some people that says it all rewires your brain, and some of the research is saying some of that. I know most people use it as a tool to get off faster, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And you could put me as another member on Team Sue. Let's all watch more porn. We have another listener question. Thank you for those. turnedonpodcast.com. All of our contact information is there. Or sue@sexwithsue.com. And a question about erectile dysfunction.
Well, it's the wife of somebody who has erectile dysfunction. And what happens with guys, if they've got ED, one of two things happen. I'll either get a voicemail on my, on my phone going, Sue, I need your next available appointment. Call the Marines. I don't care what it costs. Fix it. There is a problem. Houston, this has to be done. Or their wives will drag them in.
Wait a minute. Call the Marines instead of the Navy? Because the Navy have seamen.
All right, okay.
That's
Or
what I'm here for on the podcast, guys.
Dragged in by their wives after 4 years of going, we have got to do something about this. God damn it. We're going to go see Sue professionally. So this was the wife of somebody who's over 40, who's having some issues. And it is, and again, he's refusing to talk about it. But it's sexual problems with guys over 40. It happens. And there is something called the responsive male sexual desire. There is certainly something that happens with women. Women have a responsive sexual desire. If you want us, we often will start to respond. If you start from neutral, guys think they should start from, boing. And that is not true. If you have an erection, you want to use it. But if you don't have one, you can be enticed from neutral. And that is called a responsive sexuality. And it's okay. Men make the mistake that predictable erections that lead to intercourse are the measure of real male sexuality. Neat! And so they either embarrassed or they're sexually avoidant.
Can I quote you on that, by the way?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, men, let me repeat this. Men make the mistake that predictable erections leading to intercourse are the measure of real male sexuality. Whether that's gay or straight, spontaneous desires and erections are welcome, but they're not the measure of your sexual abilities. And if that is the only measure, it is totally self-defeating versus touch, pleasure, good enough sex, natural flow, relaxation, touch, get your tongue involved, all of that stuff.
How does all of this misinformation, and let's call it what it is, it's misinformation, really get into our heads?
Porn. You're just talking about it. There is a bit of that.
I guess.
There is a bit of that. No matter what, you're hung to your knees.
But the idea that
your
I have
heart is a rock.
Yeah,
and
the
you
idea
can
that I have to look
hour.
like this, that I've got to be the 36, 24, 36 curvy figured woman, or that I've got to, be the chiseled,
or even Disney. Disney's
man.
got all that. But Hugh Hefner, oh my God, big boobs, big lips, big hair. I don't look like that. That's not what is real.
Guys, this is a fixable thing. Whatever the issue is, this is a fixable thing. Get out there and get a happy, hairy heart-on going. I mean, you owe it to yourself. Don't be embarrassed by it.
And so we've been talking about, we talked last week about penis augmentation with the...
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. Oh my God, he was Dr. Moore. Bill Moore, I loved him. He's so awesome. So if...
I love the imagery that he talked about just, he's got patients he increases the girth of penises through injection. Right?
Right.
And the description, and it was so beautiful. I loved it because, I could just, and guys, listen to me here. When, the idea of rolling over in bed and all of a sudden you feel this heavier thud thing, it kind of plays to that whole imagery that for some reason we have in our head, be it porn or whatever else has planted that seed. But this is what we're saying is don't be embarrassed by these things. First off,
fortunately, we have the technology.
Yeah, let that stuff go. Talk to people like Sue. Talk to your doctor about solutions.
But there is, there's erectile medication, there's pumps, there's rings.
Right.
You can get, the sound wave technology, which is really works. I sent a couple of ducklings, just saying, they will remain nameless, but they did. They sent me testimonials. I sent them to Dermacontour Ottawa to get the sound waves. Holy shit. There's like Sue, they were, I can introduce you. If you don't believe me, random ducklings, I'm telling you.
Okay.
They were gobstopped at the difference. Now it's not cheap. It's, you're looking at $5,000, like some of that, but it is a permanent solution. But if you're going to spend, $1,000 on Viagra in a year, it doesn't take that long.
Listen, everything costs more these days. I don't think $5,000 is really that huge an investment.
If you're having erection issues, and so
the
there is
payoff
stuff
on
you
that
can
investment
do
is pretty
versus
substantial.
getting injections into the side of your penis.
Yeah.
From the that's the triple P that they use for people with prostate comes. There is something we can do, and you don't have to do implants anymore. We can do sound waves, and it's painless.
If you got questions about ED, etc., my partner in crime here would be happy to answer your question.
Sue at sexwithsue.com.
There it is. It's the happy ending portion of Turned On the podcast, and you want to talk about the 1 minute rule. My bet is we'll talk about the 1 minute rule for roughly 6 minutes.
Cool. All right. Well, that's fun. And it's not the 1 minute guy, which is finishing in less than a minute, which I have stuff on. Go to my website, sexwithsue.com, and there's a whole handout about how to get better at that, or send me a question and I'll walk you through it. But it's 1 minute is how to have freaky sex in a minute. If you're busy and you don't have time and you're like, we listen to the podcast on the way to work and we don't have time. And my favorite story about listening to it on the way to work is my Pervy Book Club, which runs once a month, and I send out free crazy books. I have listeners from New Jersey, Jersey Jimmy and Tara. They're so funny. He downloads the book as an audiobook and listens to it work with the guys in the car because he works in construction, and it's hilarious. His stuff is hilarious. Anyway, I have some audio crazy kink. Anyway,
could you please put a digital recorder in your car and just send us like 3 minutes
so
of
funny,
y'all?
And he's got that Jersey accent.
Yeah.
We're actually going to New Jersey at the end of the month to see Martin Barr, but I should write them and see if they can come and join me.
Please just send us 3 minutes of you and your buddies in the car listening to the Pervy Book Club and having a conversation about it. We'd love to air that here in the podcast.
That would be great. All right, I'm sending it to them. Okay. Anyway, the 1 minute rule is basically if you're busy and you don't have time, but your partner comes up, don't say no right away. Right? 1 minute to be intimate with your partner. where you're appreciating, you're reciprocating their advances, and here are some suggestions to get freaky right away. And I'm open to your suggestions. So I did a quick thing. How do you get your clothes off quickly to do a little squiggle? You don't want to encourage them to get off in a minute because they can go to the bathroom and finish themselves off, but you do want to get a way to sort of really entice
get heated,
them.
Get squishy. Get
Squishy.
Okay,
60 seconds. What can you do? There's a suggestion about kissing upside down because apparently if you put your head over if you put your head over the end of the bed, I keep thinking Linda Lovelace and being able to take a dick down the end of your mouth because that's how she did it. She numbed the back of her throat. She was on, she was a little stoned and she put her head over the back of the thing and she had not much of a gag reflex. Man, she could take a tree trunk down her throat. But kissing upside down apparently is something. Dry skin brushing. So you get either a hairbrush or you can go to the health food stores have them. These are the dry skin brushing and it helps move your lymph system. But apparently it's really sexy.
Are you basically exfoliating them?
Basically, but the hairbrush or a very soft one or the dry skin brushing, apparently it's almost like the tickling sensation we were talking about at the top of the show. But what it does is it stimulates the skin, which is one of your largest organs, and it gets your blood flow, and apparently it works really well as a 60-second solution. Right. I'm going to try it actually this week. Put on a 1-minute song and say, can you play with my nipples for a minute? Or can I play with, do we have any 1-minute songs?
Well, I was just going to say, are there 1-minute songs? And then you said, can you play with my nipples? So now I'm thinking we need to get creative and actually write a 1-minute song called Can You Play With My Nipples?
For a minute.
And have it last 60 seconds.
All right, work on that.
All right.
Yeah, as my audio guy, work on that.
In my spare time, Sue, I'll get right on that.
Well, or edit down, better yet, find a couple of songs, right? The paste, what was it? The twisted, what is the twisted?
Peppermint twist?
And edit it down to 1 minute. So if you play it, by the end of the song, that's it. Meh, you're done. Yeah, you have to do one call. We're going to practice on you.
Great. I got homework today on the podcast.
Yes, you did.
This is wonderful.
So a no touching where you put your hand close or you're touching yourself, and you titillate each other touching yourself, but no touching for a minute. Or you can do that Reiki right over your body and do that energy thing. I don't know. I think the idea of doing that. You could tickle like we talked about. You could write you could do a 1-minute story. You could do the back of your head rub and see how you can do this touching to get to 60 seconds. You can get the tingle lotions. I have so much in my bathroom.
Who's Julie, the comedian friend of yours?
Yeah.
Who likes to show her boobies?
Yeah.
She brought me a bunch of
tonight at Comedy in the Park.
She brought me a bunch of tingle stuff. Okay,
yes,
and it works, by the way.
It really works. Tingle lotions in different places. It's very exciting. Or you could work on the mint flavored pasties that I ordered. But anyway, 1-minute erotica. Have a sex jar with some suggestions and see what you can do for 60 seconds. Right? We have one, and I don't use it very often. I got one. My partner's big on those coupons you get at Christmas. I will good for one free back rub or good. I'm going to do the dishes or whatever. I never use them, so I think he thinks it's a great gift because I don't redeem them. But we have a box. We have a box, and it has different things he's promised me, where he's given me for Christmas or birthdays. So every now and then I will pull one out. I will pull one out and say, "On your knees, boy." That's what you need to do. Yeah. But if you have a suggestion, a 1-minute sex suggestion, I want to hear from it.
Look, 1 minute is a commercial. That is a commercial. So if you're watching TV, one commercial typically is 60 seconds. The average radio station is playing 8 to 9 minutes of commercials. Just, that's...
Not BTR.
Not my radio station, but, most radio stations are. And just if you want to put, not put a stopwatch on it, but listen to blasttheradio.com because 90 seconds is as long as we go commercial-wise, and then you're back to the music. So if you can just,
or even if you decide to go 50% longer and do 90 seconds... See what happens. I'm not encouraging you to go fast, right? Sometimes premature ejaculation happens because your mother's pounding on the bathroom door and you learn to come really quickly, and then with your partner, all of a sudden you got to learn to come really slowly. Don't.
And by the way, I was not trying to get a pitch in for the radio station.
I love the radio station.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
I know you do. I'm just saying that, it's not a huge commitment of time. Like in your everyday life, whether you're in the car, think of the things you can do in the car. And a 60-second commercial comes on for a car dealer. You could be rubbing somebody's inner thigh. You could be,
scratching their back all the way down to their bum. You could be inserting
right?
a butt plug. You never know, right?
In the car. Well,
I don't know. It's like, let's find different things you can do, in terms of what you want to try.
if you're the kind of people that would like to insert butt plugs in the car, you're the kind of people I mentioned earlier I'd like to do a photo shoot with for cover art for Turned On, the podcast. Get in touch. Our website.
Post it on the Ducklings site. I said, I'm sure you'll have some takers.
Okay.
All right. We are the Ducklings.com.
Do we have duckling butt plugs? We need to have duckling butt plugs.
I'll ask Brent, my merch guy. Yeah.
Now that's some serious podcast merch. You can't get that just anywhere.
We love you.
We do. TurnedOnPodcast.com. She's Sue McGarvie. I'm John Milkman, the Milkman. We put the podcast out weekly. Thanks for your questions. And please share this with a friend.
Yes.
Hey, if you got a question for Sue, you got comments on the podcast, we're on Google, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on iHeart, we're on Amazon Music. Ask your smart speaker to play Turned On, the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. What's the email address, Sue?
Sue@sexwithsue.com.
Forward to another conversation a week from now.